I mean, I've been there since the beginning. I feel like it's my child.
I guess the first thing I want to talk about is premiere night. We have another live move-in, which is very exciting. We have a few twists that we've kind of learned about. What can you tell us about this team twist that, people will be competing for team captains? How do you think that's going to play into the game? What can you tell us about that?
Well, on the live premiere, you're going to find out who the four teams are. And the way we're going to form them is, we always like to move groups of four in at a time. So each group that moves in, they're going to have to head right away to the backyard and compete to become the team captain. And after each group moves in, you have 14 captains. And they're going to find out then live that each captain has to form a team of four. They have to pick the other members of their team, and it has to be 2 men, 2 women. And they're doing this based off of first impressions. They're going to be presented with a little snippet of a house guest describing himself or herself. And then what really is going to heat things up is after the teams are formed, the 4 team captains are going to compete for one of them to become head of household. So at the end of the night, when, the HOH is feeling, I have safety for a week, my team has safety for a week, everything's hunky-dory, I'm going to present that head of household with an offer that he or she really is not going to be able to refuse. And this whole summer, it's no risk, no reward. And I'm going to present them with a double or nothing challenge. But if you want to go far this season, you're going to have to take risks.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, are these offers going to be popping up throughout the season?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Throughout the season. That's the whole theme. We're calling it the Big Brother Beach Club, but it's a beach club that would be set, if you will, in a Monte Carlo kind of background. So it's definitely a gambler's summer. And we're also introducing a new competition that will unveil itself on the first Sunday night show. So Sunday nights are going to be exciting for a second reason. You're not just going to find out the 2 people that the head of household has nominated for eviction. You're always going to have this other competition, a whole nother layer to it.
I also wanted to ask, because CBS is committed to casting at least 50% Black, Indigenous, and people of color. I guess, what are your thoughts on that? Have you seen the cast? What do you think of the cast this year?
I have seen the cast. I think it's a great move because, we've seen almost every summer racially insensitive comments that are made in the house. And that has become a topic of conversation. And it was only last summer where you had seasoned players, all-stars, come back and talk about that. And those were some of the best conversations that were had in the house. And they were also more mature as a group because, years had passed before some of them. A lot of them came back in as a parent, and they're like, what kind of world am I raising my child in? So I think it's a good thing that we're going to see the most diverse cast ever. And that's not to say something won't happen or won't be said that is racially insensitive, but hopefully, as always, we will address it. And hopefully, if that happens, it could be a teaching moment for everyone involved.
I know we're not going to start with a live audience. We're not going to do masks, it sounds like. Anything else that's changing? Do you hope to see a live audience, maybe at the finale, something?
I was disappointed that there wasn't going to be a live audience at all this summer. And I think once we start that way, we have to probably end that way. And then hopefully there is a next season, and then, all bets are off. But in terms of, everything else behind the scenes, what worked last year is going to be put into place this year because it worked at the height of COVID. Everyone is going to be wearing a mask, except when I'm on stage, I'll be the only one who's not wearing a mask. A lot of people still working from home, and everyone's still working in, pods, if you will, and getting tested every week. You can never be too safe.
Yeah. And you mentioned next season. Do you envision Big Brother on without Julie Chen Moonves hosting it?
No, I cannot. I cannot picture Big Brother without me hosting it. I mean, I've been there since the beginning. I feel like it's my child. It'd be giving up my child. No, and I've said this before, but Bob Barker hosted The Price is Right for 55 years. So, but that show did go on without it. I mean, at some point, I hope it only goes on without me if I'm 6 feet under. And I'm not hoping for that.
Oh my gosh. Well, you
Or I can pass it on to my son. I've told him, I said, that would be funny.
Yeah, might as well keep it going. Well, the last thing I just want to ask is like any other teases, like what are you excited about this summer? What do you want fans to see? Yeah, just overall thoughts about Big Brother 23.
What I love is the, we always tell the house guests expect the unexpected. I always love the unplanned things that kind of happened to us. I mean, looking back, it was kind of a funny moment when like the door to the have-nots room wouldn't open on premiere night. We weren't laughing then, but like the old saying, if you're gonna laugh about it later, you might as well laugh about it now. Or when we had a technical glitch on the triple eviction night, and when I went back on screen to talk to the house guests, they saw, the words behind me, and they were like, ah. So I love those unscripted, unexpected moments that happen every summer. That surprises all of us and puts us back on our heels a little bit. Because it's live television.